It is time for the lovely Rita to join us and talk about, what are we talking about, Rita?
So I thought it would be quite good to start talking a little bit about how health and sustainability relate together. So we've probably heard a lot recently about, climate change, and just stop oil is pretty much all over the place all the time, irritating most of society. I'm not going to lie, I don't really agree with a lot of their tactics.
No, nor do I.
But from the point of view of how does sustainability come into our life, that's definitely a topic that needs to be discussed more, because I think a lot of people have this idea that a healthy, sustainable lifestyle is actually expensive. There seems to be this idea that if you want to go, whether the words that people know are organic or chemical free or whatever it might be, there's this idea that that's going to cost a lot and therefore it's not for people like me. And actually that isn't true. There's lots of ways of creating sustainability in your health, which is also really beneficial. It's been shown that cases of ADHD, that cases of neurological challenges are on the rise. And there's a huge link between a lot of the chemical-based products that we use and have done in our society for many, many years and decades now. And that having sort of a link with both the mother using it, but then obviously with our children, you got to look at the clothes that they wear, which are imported from the other side of the world. You look at even the shampoos, the conditioners that we wash our children with. If you actually look at the shampoo, you're probably not going to recognize most of the ingredients in there, and it's because everything's from a very chemicalized basis, and this is actually harming our health quite considerably, and especially women, because I'm all for equality, absolutely. I work with women, I espouse women sort of having all the same equal rights as men and anybody else on the planet. I think that's a given. However, since you could talk about maybe like the sexual revolution, sort of the 60s, and we got the pill, and so suddenly women could take control of their own sexual health in a much more empowered way. Actually, you look at the chemicals that are in those contraceptives, or you look at the chemicals that are put in things like sanitary pads. And sorry, I know this is breakfast morning radio, but these are really important issues that people don't understand, is that things like sanitary pads, men will probably not get this, but sanitary pads aren't in a sealed unit. They have, it's almost like they're half open. And the reason that they're packaged like that is because they need airflow, because the amount of chemical in them. It's almost like if you were spray painting a room, what's the first thing you do? You would open a window, right, to allow the chemicals to air. And that's why sanitary pads are packaged with this aeration. So it's not just, shampoos and conditioners and makeup, but it's also things that we're using in the most intimate areas of our body are so doused in chemicals that that's on a constant basis being absorbed. So health and sustainability and natural product all go hand in hand.
But I mean, people would say that we're all chemical based. We're all made up of chemicals. Everything has a chemical equation somewhere along the line. And so, but it's finding that balance is what you're saying. But I got into a little conversation the other day, which I got into trouble for, whereby I was talking about vegetarianism and all the rest of it. All I was doing was pointing out what was on the labeling and the fact that manufacturers, and correct me if I'm wrong, seem to exploit the fact that if somebody's now going on a health kick, for want of a better expression, or they're going on to some leisure thing, the manufacturers will aim certain products at them. And we've spoken about this before, and the price will be reflective. So if you want to do anything to do with horses, for example, anything to do with equestrian stuff has got an extra level added to it. Certain foods, as you've pointed out, if they're supposed to be better for you and all the rest of it, and the manufacturers think that that's the way forward and people are going to grasp on that, do they not inflate the prices in order, to exploit people who are trying to get better for themselves?
So I think there's, you could look at it in two ways. Across the board, whether we're talking about healthy products, equestrian products, or other, prices will vary. If you go onto Amazon and you put something in your Amazon basket, for instance, you know that you add it and then you don't buy it and it just sits there in your basket, you will see in about 1 to 2 weeks, if it's still sitting in your basket, the price will decrease. And that's not because it's across the board decreased, it's for you, because they're trying to get you to buy it.
Okay.
So prices in general across a huge gamut of larger industries will fluctuate because they're trying to get you to buy their product. Equally, Facebook will listen to you. I had a conversation just the other day about, I want to say it was Sea Life, Sea World, the big aquarium in London, and discussing with my other half the best day to go. This is me talking, me researching on my phone, and 5 minutes later, his Facebook is advertising SeaWorld to him at a discounted price because it's listened, it's heard what I've been saying. We need to understand that when it comes to larger companies, they have algorithms far beyond anything that you believe that they have. And so, yes, the prices will change depending on what they believe they can get out of you. However, when it comes to health, it's again going to be dependent on context. So if I went to Oxford Street into a pure organic shop, I can guarantee the prices will be 100% higher than if I just went into a local farm shop down the road where I live. But essentially what they're selling is the same thing. All natural products, it's just that the context means that the local farm shop hasn't got the ability or luxury or environment around them to be able to sell at London prices. So yes, to a point, prices fluctuate, but you've just got to be aware of how to find the right thing. So for instance, face masks, this is something that probably is more of a female thing, although if you're a man that does face masks, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it.
A lot of people say I need one.
So face masks, people will buy, pre-packaged face masks that they'll put on their face and things like that. And you look at the ingredients and it's full of chemicals. You could do the exact same thing by mashing up an avocado with a little bit of lemon juice. It's going to create the same effect that you're looking for. Most of what you can find in health, you can find in food. So it's about those. When you go to shops, there are always things which are at the very end of their sell-by and they're cheap as chips because they've only got like 1 or 2 days left on them. So for instance, I'll always go find the avocados that are like 12 pence because they've got no life left. They're really ripe, they're really gooey, they're perfect for making things like moisturizers and face masks like that. And it doesn't take a long time. I'm talking about mash it up like guacamole and slap it on. It's a relatively simple thing to do. So it's context. The local farm shop versus, I don't know, Blush on Oxford Street is definitely price-wise going to be different. But then you need to decide, am I willing to go to the local farm shop and trust that that product is probably better? Or do I need the brand? Do I need the context? Do I need the status to say, I got this on Oxford Street? And that's a lot of what people pay for, is a badge and a status.
But also, it's the convenience, I suppose. We spoke about convenience, even with foods where people say, oh, well, on the way home, grab this pizza or grab a burger or something. It's convenience and whatever. Yes, it's good for you in the terms in the sense that you haven't got many minutes to do things, but it's bad for you in another way. And it's finding that balance. And if you say that slapping an avocado on your face, for want of a better expression, it does the same job, but it's also having that knowledge. And if people don't know that, then obviously they're going to go to the brand. Oh, look what it's done to the face on the screen. I want that kind of thing. And that's the way they'll package it. But you having this knowledge and imparting that allows people to make their own decisions and then do their own research. If they think, well, no, she can't be, that's rubbish, I'm not listening to that. But then if they were to follow it up and do their own research, let's find out for themselves. And do you think that would sway their opinion?
I would hope so. I think people always make decisions better when they judge it on their own research and understanding. It's the difference between telling and teaching. I have no desire to tell anyone to do anything. It's just, this is my learning. This is what I've discovered. Find out for yourself if you agree. And if you don't, that's also absolutely fine. But the thing is, you said this product has done this to the face on the screen. Again, it's just awareness to understand most of the models that you see who are sporting different products, whether it's outfits, makeup, hair products, most of them are under 21 maximum. You know, I had a client who works at fashion shows, and she does sort of the London, the Paris, the Milan fashion weeks. And so I happened to be in Paris at the same time as her for a completely different thing. So she sort of showed me around, and it was really interesting and really great. And I noticed that all of these women models seem to have other women with them. It's like, who are these other women who seem to be just hanging around, not really with a job? Oh, they're their mothers. Ah, how old is the model? Oh, she's 14.
What?
And these 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds whose makeup is done to make them look like they are in their 20s, because then women like myself or men or whomever is watching this see a completely unrealistic, falsified idea of what is possible. There's no product on earth, including cosmetic surgery, that can make a 60-year-old look like a 14-year-old. But this is what they're espousing is going to happen. And it's, to me, it's false advertising.
Yeah, I was
So
going to
I
say.
would much rather go down to the local farm shop and buy an avocado than a product for 25 quid that's actually being sported on the face of someone who's a child. You know, of course, we're never going to have the same quality of skin, of tone, of definition as that, you know, teenager. So there's just, it's always just be wary what you're seeing.
Yeah, no, it's not always that what you see is not always accurate, and it's always sometimes the information that they don't give you. It's the bit they leave out that can be the important part. So in summary, then just be wary of the products and do your own research, and then try and make it work for you. Is that the basis of it?
Yeah, the thing is, it's not for most people that easy to just go chemical free, because chemicals are in literally everything.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for most people to do that. But if possible, just do some research, look at the sanitary products, look at the makeup, look at the moisturizers. Just the best first step is just start looking at the ingredients, because most people will buy the product based on the name, the brand, and how it's been advertised. They will not, even when it says all natural on the front, they won't then read the ingredients to say, is it really? So actually what the first step to awareness is just start to look at the ingredients. If there's a word and you have no clue what it is, research it. Look, what is this? Where is it used? Where did it come from? Listerine, for instance. Listerine as a mouthwash started as a chemical cleaner. It started as an industrial cleaner, and they realized it wasn't strong enough to do that. They didn't change anything. They didn't change the packaging. They didn't change the product, the formula, anything. They said, what could we use it as? Oh, it's mouthwash. So that was an industrial cleaner. It just wasn't quite strong enough, but we're swilling it around our mouths. So it just start to think about what's in it, research it, and if you're not sure, look for different ways, look for alternatives, ask questions. The best way to learn is to ask.
Yeah.
Don't just blindly accept.
Well, that's one thing my late father always taught me is the best advice he ever gave me. He said, boy, he said, you've got a tongue in your head. If you don't know something, ask. And if anybody's any good and they don't know, they'll find out for you. So that's pretty much where we go. All right, Rita, listen, how do people just for you? Because I know you've got to Zoom off. How can people get in touch with you if they want some more information or get involved in what you do?
So they can head to our website, which is thehealthandfitnesscoach.com, or they can email us, which is Rita, RITA, at thehealthandfitnesscoach.co.uk, or we are on Facebook, Rita Trotter, LinkedIn, as well as Instagram. We're
everywhere. You're everywhere, all over the place, some may say. No, I'm only joking. Anyway, I'm off to check the ingredients in my mouthwash, and that may end up in the bin because I don't want industrial cleaner down my throat. Thank you very much. Listen, you have a good day, and we'll speak to you soon.
See you later. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.